Hey friends, how you doing today? It is Tuesday afternoon. I spent the morning out at the farm, not the new farm, the old farm, with someone who might be taking over there. I don't know yet. And then when I got home, I put Miss Francine back in with her sisters. I don't know. She's not worse, but she's not great. It's just that I know that they tend to do better if they can spend time together. Yeah, I think she might be in the nesting box. I'm going to check on her right now. I have oh no, she's right there. Hi, baby. I just want to keep an eye on her for a few minutes here. Just look at her and assess her. Okay, so when I put her in, she drank. She went over to the silo and she drank a ton of water. I mean, she stood there for like 5 solid minutes drinking water, which is great. So I don't have to worry about her dehydrating. And now she's interested in the babies. Her tail is upright, which is good. She is walking around. I did give her another bath this morning. I don't know what you guys are begging for. And she did eat another egg yolk, and I put a little bit of calcium in it for her. So, I don't know. I mean, if you didn't know that she was sick, you'd look at her right now and be like, oh yeah, she's totally fine. But when I put her back in here and I watched her for a while after she drank water, she did go back to that like standing still, closing her eyes thing. And so, I don't know, y'all. I do know that they can get depressed and lonely when they're without their flock, and so maybe this will help her. But she's not scratching around to try to, eat or anything like that. She did eat some fly grubs out of my hand, though, in her hospital bed, so there's that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious. Still don't know what's going to go on with her. And the worst part is that over the next 4 days, we're going to have a heat wave. Freaking heat wave in October. I'm going to be up close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 days. And that is stressful on chickens at the best of times. So I'm worried about her because it's going to be even more stressful on her since she's already not well. Yeah, so don't feel like we're out of the woods. I'm going to go check the nesting box and see if she laid since I put her in here, but I don't think she has. Yeah, see, she's standing. She's got her eyes closed while she's standing there. And she's still got a hunched head. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe another round of bath. It's just weird. Okay, well, I've got a monstrous headache, but I feel like I need to get something done out here, and also I want to be close by and keep an eye on her because I might just take her out and give her another bath and put her back in her hospital pen. So we'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up all of the drip tape in the 2 beds that I can do that in. Then in the other beds, I'll start cleaning them out. So these 2 beds, I can pull up the drip tape because I can get to it without disturbing any of the few plants that are remaining. This bed I need to clean out completely, and then I can pull up the tape. That bed over there is fruit trees and stuff, and I haven't checked it yet, but I'm pretty sure they also have chewed on that string of drip tape, so I might, in that case, just turn it off at the valves up top. So one of the reasons I like to use these valves, even though they're more expensive, so here at the header, you can just attach a fitting to put the drip tubing directly into the header. But I like to use these valves because I can turn off individual drip tape runs with those valves or entire beds, and so it's very efficient. Okay, so I'm gonna set you guys up in the shade to watch me work in the sun. I'm gonna listen to a book and keep an eye on my baby over there and I might have to relocate her again. All right, I'm gonna try to get some work done. It's kind of hot and my head is pounding. So is my heart rate. I think I'm dehydrated. So slight change of plans, but for good. And we're going to test something in just a minute. So when I started pulling up all the staples and stuff for the drip tape, I noticed that the damage to the drip tape was actually just down at the end, where the water pools at the end of a cycle. So that's where the rodents were chewing through to get to it. Poor guys, are thirsty. There's no water left in our creeks or anything now. We're at the end of our dry season and it's rough for creatures. Okay, so what I've done then is trimmed back those ends. There's no reason to pull up all of this if there's no other leaks in it. I can save it all. So I've pulled up, I cut off the damaged parts and put caps on everything for these 3 rows right here, not for that row yet. And I actually just turned off these 2 lines here along the fence line. It's peonies in there. I can, make sure they get a little bit of water before the rains come. But for the most part, that stuff's in the shade most of the day. So I'm going to turn on the zone here and see if everything looks good. And if that's the case, then I can go ahead and put down the bone meal and the blood meal and the rodent deterrent and plant my seedlings again and hope that we'll be good to go this time. Okay, moment of truth. I can hear it kicking on. We're lucky at the house. We have a lot of pressure in this system. I actually have a really strong pressure regulator up at the valve. And this is downhill from the system, so all right, so far, so good. It would be awesome if I could get water back into these beds. Okay, so here's a little break. I'll probably repair that. But, I mean, that's great. Oh, there's a big one there. Okay, so definitely have to fix that. And that one right there. But in general, not too bad. Because, yeah, see there's a bunch of little pinpricks here. Okay, now that it's getting completely pressurized. So I may just have to cut back. Instead of repairing all these little tiny leaks, I'll just cut it back to up there like north of the status. Since I have to clear this bed anyway, I'll just take all that out. But the problem down here is resolved. And especially over there, because that is off. Now, we still have a leakage issue. Well, there's a little tiny pinprick there, but that's okay. This is not gushing here anymore. Pinpricks I can deal with. We still have to deal with this guy here. Right? It's not gushing out of there, but it's definitely running. And I can hear water over here. Oh, yeah, big holes here. So this, yeah, that's giant. This is what, I gotta clean this whole area up, but this is what waters these peonies. So yeah, it's all gonna get cleaned up and repaired. But this is really good news. So I know now that it was just at the ends. And the actual beds, and I can see the water working, can be fed. Yes, the rains are still coming, but I don't know exactly when. Sometimes it's end of October, sometimes it's end of November. You just never know. So I see where I've got my major problems. Basically right here where the tomato is, that's all got to come out. I'll just chop all those off and replace the bottom half, probably in the spring, because I don't think I'm going to need that section right now. Clear all this out and put an end right here, end caps, and then I can always join up new tubing in the springtime. Okay, even though there is so much more work to do, my head is pounding so hard. It's one of those headaches that as your heart rate rises, the pounding raises too, and it's really hurting, so I'm throwing in the towel. I did just check on Francine. She's not looking good. She just really isn't. So I've set up her, cleaned out her hospital brooder, and I'm gonna bring her back inside right now and put her in an Epsom salt bath. She's not eating again. She did have a lot of water earlier today, so that's really good. But I've got fresh water with electrolytes and probiotics in there for her, and I'm going to try to feed her some more egg yolk because she does enjoy that, and put some calcium in it. I mean, at this point, I have to assume it's egg bound because she hasn't laid an egg in 2 days. We're pushing the envelope here, and I'm very nervous. So more baths over the next couple hours, and I really hope that she can pull through this. But at least she had some time with her sisters to help remind her of that bond and remind them who's in charge. But I think it's time to take her out again. She's just not looking good, and it's hot. So it'll be much cooler in the garage. It'll be dark. She can rest. Because really what she's doing now is she's like underneath the coop, kind of in the shade, laying very weird. Doesn't look comfortable with her eyes closed. So yeah, it's kind of creepy. So I'm going to pull her out. All right. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Hope you have a great time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.